You guys like fourth wall breaking humor, correct? Well, good, because Gwenpool is a real person who loves comic books and is now stuck in the Marvel Universe. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into complete stories and then I talk about them dramatically back to you. And you know what? Look behind you, I'm standing there right now! Alright, broke the fourth wall there. All alterations to the panel, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Warning, this one starts out really crazy but quickly becomes a really good story when it starts coming together. Stick it out for the ride. Before we can get into the story proper, we need to explain the prologue. Gwen was just chilling at the local bank waiting to deposit some stolen money when the bank teller was trying to inform her that she needs some kind of identification of sorts, and she informs the guy that she doesn't have any. She's not from this universe. Well, that's when bank robbers walk in and tell everyone to get to the ground. Gwen smiles about it and tells the teller, don't worry about it, she's a superhero. Just don't tell anyone. And then she puts on her mask. Stealing money? Cool, cool. But I'll bet you really wish you were robbing a blood bank. Then with a smile, she shows them her rifle. Because you're about to be out of blood soon. Get it? She opens fire on them, informing them that she prefers guns to superpowers. They return fire, so she jumps over the counter and throws her grenade back over the counter, blowing up the central area of the bank. The poor hostages see her standing triumphantly and they try to tell her, please don't hurt us, Ghostface No Pants Killer. And Gwen is confused because she's the hero. Well, the police don't believe her and they cuff her, throwing her into the back of the police car. In the back seat of the cop car, she manages to meet one of the robbers that survived, the hacker. Gwen and him talk it out for a second until the cop pulls over demanding their money because they aren't going to be making it to the precinct. Gwen is stunned. A dirty cop? No way! She turns to the hacker. Quick, hack something else before he kills us! The cop turns around. I'm not gonna kill you. I'm gonna let you go. I'm tired of all of this crazy superhero stuff, so I'm letting you go, and I'm taking her money, which I'm sure you acquired illegally, and I'm disappearing. He steps out of the car, telling Gwen that he's gonna give her another chance. He's sure she didn't mean to cause any problems. So, he hands her the car and he walks off, and she races down the streets. See, I knew I couldn't get arrested. And then she turns to her new sidekick Cecil to inform him that they're gonna be sleeping in the car tonight. And that is how Gwen was sent on a righteous path with a kick-ass hacker sidekick. Shortly after that, Gwen is hiding behind a statue when sentinels are walking on the front lawn of a mutant building. Cecil, the hacker, informs her that they need to apply a remote hacking device if she wants his help turning them off. So Gwen makes a break for it, dodging the lasers until she can apply the remote hacking device. She then runs away from the sentinels, begging Cecil to make them self-destruct. But Cecil informs her that she should probably get them off the front lawn first. And she tells him, the people are paying for a good show, Cecil! Which confuses Cecil because he thought the wealthy mutant clients that hired her wanted the mess to go away. And she tells him, not them, the people who bought this comic. Right, your Truman Show thing, Cecil says, pushing the button, blowing up the sentinels. And the head of the sentinel goes flying through the front window. As you can see, Gwen is making a name for herself as a merc, and she returns back to her broker, Ronnie, to get the next job. It's a job to get rid of the alien weapons arms dealers, and when Gwen sees the check, she places her mask on her head, takes a marker, and then draws money signs over her own eyes. The broker tries to inform her that she'll die, but she ignores them and walks out, because Gwen tells her that she can't die. This is issue 1, or maybe even still a backup in another comic. She can't die this early. So she hits up a New York tour helicopter. And once it gets over the submarine that houses the alien weapon brokers, she jumps out of it, landing in the ocean. Except she doesn't exactly land in the ocean, she lands with a splat on the glass ceiling of the submarine, and she sees someone inside already shooting up the aliens. She drops inside, whispering, stealth scream, as she charges at an alien only to find him already dead, so she takes his gun, shoots him once, and walks off. Cecil calls her asking what she's doing because she's way over her head. She should leave right now, but she refuses to go anywhere until she resolves this mysterious murderer thing. She walks deeper and deeper until she finds a man in a Hydra uniform killing the last alien and standing in front of a furnace. And as he calls up his boss, she pushes him in, wondering who he was. She then texts her broker, Ronnie, filling her in on the haul, and heads back to her place with Cecil already there. She hops right into the bathtub in her costume because she figures that the costume is probably a bathing suit. That's why she doesn't have pants. And then she realizes that having the sleeves on the costume wouldn't make sense for a bathing suit. The news then goes live with Captain America informing everyone that someone killed all of the aliens and saved the city. And Cecil tells Gwen that things may get messy if someone goes looking for her, considering that she didn't actually save the city. That's when the wall blows up and MODOK steps in. You're the famous Gwenpool? Well, you work for me now, or else. She looks at him and then laughs at his face. MODOK is threatening me. Furious, MODOK uses his head laser to fry Cecil, killing him on the spot. Gwen begins to cry as she falls to her knees, realizing she isn't the hero of the story, she's a henchman. He brings her to the base where she meets the rest of the MODOK henchmen, and after MODOK explains his plans, he leaves them alone and Gwen gets to know her new friends. Batroc, the Leaper, the Terrible Eye, and Megatoni, and their first mission is a go. Gwen plays along because she really doesn't want to die like Cecil, so the Terrible Eye ends up flipping a car and Megatoni, Batroc, and Gwen take the prisoner out of it and they begin to race out of the scene with him. Batroc tells Megatoni to kill the guy, but instead Megatoni puts him to sleep because he feels that there's something weird about killing a guy this close. But before they can do anything else, there's a crack of lightning and Thor lands in front of the car. Gwen stops, shocked that it's Thor, and then she asks Thor how she gets her hair like that. Batroc begins to shout, "Get away from Thor, you dumb children!" And Gwen continues, "It's dry shampoo, isn't it?" Thor walks over, tearing the door off the car and pulls out the prisoner, and then she opens up a portal to walk away, except the Terrible Eye launches an explosion, stopping Thor. In response, Thor throws her hammer up to the building while Gwen gets out and begins to open fire on Thor. Batroc runs in, kicking Thor into the nearby building, and when Gwen tries to stop her, Thor tells her, "Away, pink fly," swatting her down. Thor then walks over to Batroc and beats him down before knocking out Megatoni. Gwen begins to panic. Oh no, oh no, oh no. What's her name? What's her name? She's played by Natalie Portman in the movie. Jane! Of course, Thor stops in her tracks and slams Gwen into the wall. "What did thou say?" With lightning crackling from her eyes, she demands to know what Gwen said. And Gwen thinks quickly. "I said sprain! We're a real tight team, and when we're hurt, we tell each other our injuries." "This is very important. It sounded like you said, very well. Mayhap it was just sprain." While Thor is thinking about that though, Gwen knocks an RPG over with her foot, aims it, and launches it, killing the original target. Thor smashes the wall, telling Gwen that she has doomed hundreds. She needed a magical spell out of that individual to save an entire elven village. But that's when Terrible Eye and Megatoni inform Thor that they can take the man's magics and give it to her so that she can save the elven village. Thor takes the concoction and tells Gwen that she has her eye on her. And Gwen tells her, "You're very cool. We should do this again sometime." Later that night, MODOK is happy with the results and wondering where Pool ran off to because she's on the roof of the base trying to figure out what's going on. She's the hero, right? She's in a comic book world. She has a costume. Someone is reading this story. So why is she a henchman for MODOK? And why is Cecil dead? And what if Thor just kicked off an arc where she's gonna kill a mysterious assassin that knows her identity? Why did she say her real name? Gwen then realizes, if this is real, I'm a nobody, and MODOK's gonna kill me. I can't even get killed by Doom or Galactus. That's when Batroc walks over. "I want to see something, Gwen. Shoot me." She tells him no, and he kicks her. She opens fire on him, irritated, but misses every shot. So he jumps in, telling her to defend herself, and when she falls down, Batroc has the information he needs. "You're a fraud. I'm going to tell on you." He walks inside and Gwen tries to stop him, but he won't listen. He considers her a liability. So she tells him she'll reveal her power to him. She knows everyone's secret. Everything. Batroc stops. "If you're a telepath, what am I thinking?" She explains that that's not it. She's not from this world. She's from a world where everyone here is a comic book character, and she reads a lot of comics. He walks off telling her that is utter nonsense. And she tells him, no, it's true, that's how she stopped Thor. So he asks for proof and she tells him to think about his life before his first meeting with Captain America. Batroc tries to think about it, and then he starts to realize that it is odd he can't think of anything before that day. So she explains, you didn't exist before your first appearance. Also, you were created to be a goofy French stereotype. What? Yeah, you were named after Batrin, which means frog-like because of your jumping around. I'm a master of savate, the French art of kickboxing. At that moment, MODOK walks in, throwing his accountant out the window because the accountant can't find the existence of Gwenpool to pay her. He sees Gwen and he tells her that she needs to get a bank account, no cash payments, the MODOK company is on the up and up. Then he sees Batroc and he asks him what he wants, and Batroc walks away, nothing. Gwen heads back down to see her broker to ask if they've got any material to make pants yet, and she's told that they don't. So she tells her to get on that because she's tired of shaving her legs so much. She wants pants. Anyway, she explains that she doesn't exist in this universe, so she needs a side job since MODOK won't pay cash. And Ronnie decides to help her out by cracking an egg in her hand, and it reveals a time. She's confused by that, but Ronnie says come back after she has her citizenship. So Gwen heads off to meet with Batroc. He begins to show her how to shoot and train her how to fight, and he has a few questions for her. Such as, do these stories have happy endings? Because I've always known defeat. Gwen tells him, that's because you're a bad guy in Captain America's ongoing story. So where is the happy ending for the captain? He has fought for decades with the illusion of a meaningful victory, but the world is no safer now than it was before him. He struggles for nothing. What a fun children's story that must be. But then, time stops and Doctor Strange arrives out of nowhere. I believe you're my 1 o'clock. With the initial shock of a wizard appearing before her, Gwen explains that she needs comic book universe citizenship. He looks at the threads that make up Gwen and sees that she's not from this world. So he goes to see what world she's from. Fascinating. The world and the events of our world leave footprints or little retellings in your world. Then he sees his own movie. Benedict Cumberbatch? I can see that. Gwen looks at home and asks if she can just walk through, if she can go home. Strange tells her it's not that simple. Sorry. Then he explains that if she goes through this whole becoming a citizen of the Marvel Universe, her real family will find it hard to remember her. They may even forget her. Saddened by this, Gwen tells him it's probably for the best. Very well, Strange says as he pulls her birth out of the real world and moves it into the Marvel Universe. He takes her home and he asks her, is there anything else I can do for you? So Gwen looks down at her backpack and pulls out Cecil's skull. Is there a way that I can talk to my friend for real? And Strange rubs his chin. While everything seems to be going well, there's one slight problem that came out of all of this. MODOK was looking for information on Gwen, and he couldn't find anything until literally, magically, out of nowhere it appeared in front of him. He knew something was off, and he's going to kill her because she must be fake. So after the next mission briefing, he asks Gwen to stay behind so that he can, handle this. MODOK confronts her, telling her, you thought you could trick the smartest person in the world, but I have discovered you have no powers, no skills, no training, nothing to suggest you are anything more than a normal person. She asks, did Batroc tell you? Batroc knew? Aw, dang it. So how did you kill your predecessor? I pushed him into a furnace when he wasn't looking. So MODOK hits her with his head laser. With the smoke all around the room, MODOK begins to head out of the room until he hears a voice. Hey, smartest guy on the planet, thanks for the money for the shield generator. She then throws pink smoke bombs telling him that she's been waiting for a chance to get revenge for Cecil. Then using the training that Batroc's given her, she shoots out the head gem, giving him his laser ability. He charges at her so she ducks, slides beneath him, sticking a bomb to his leg. Pissed off, MODOK shows her all of his weapons, and he grabs her with a claw, so she kicks him in the eye. Then using her swords, she cuts off his robot legs and kicks him onto the ground using the kicks that Batroc taught her. Thinking she's won, she approaches him, but he blasts off and begins launching missiles at her. She runs for it, shouting, how could you fit all of that in there? You've got to be running out of ammo soon. No, I'm not. She takes cover and decides that she only has one shot left, and she grabs Cecil's skull and she throws it out at MODOK. Cecil, I choose you! It explodes and Cecil's spirit appears out of nowhere. Gwen then pokes her head out. Hi Cecil, I missed you. You're a ghost. Doctor Strange enchanted your skull so that I could summon you. I'm a ghost? What? I'm dead? Yeah, we can definitely talk about that later, but first I need you to ghost hack MODOK. MODOK? Oh right. He killed me. Cecil jumps into MODOK's body and begins to tear apart his programming, which launches him into space. Gwen walks over laughing, and then, after a very long paragraph, explains everything to Cecil. Batroc and the rest of the henchmen walk in, wondering what just happened, and Gwen smiles, thinking to herself, I was right! I'm the hero! I sent MODOK into space, everyone! But Batroc calls her over to the computer to inform her that the client would like to talk to the new head of the Agents of MODOK. This was a really weird story, guys, because when it first came out, I was actually against it because of how out there and crazy they were making the story out to be. But as I began to read through this first arc, it really turned into a sweet story about her trying to find her way in this world. They didn't do it from an over-the-top fourth wall kind of a thing, but in a situation of, yeah, she knows she's a comic book character, but hey, she's got to deal with it. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to check out our other Gwenpool videos showing her origins in this universe with Howard the Duck. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Comicstorian, and I'll see you next time right here.